Secretary, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, the Honorable Mr. Verma, our Joint Secretary, Srimati Supriya Sahu, who's really the heart and soul of this community radio movement, our colleague and our director, Mr. K.S. Regimon, officials from the Ministry, Doordarshan, All India Radio, delegates to the workshop, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. When I first started dealing with the question of community radio, I was trying to slot it in my mind as to where does it fit. Because the Indian broadcasting space has seen epoch-making transformation in the last 2 years. We've gone from one broadcaster to 852 insofar as television is concerned, give or take a few. Supriyaji would have the exact figures with her. Even in the radio space, we've gone from one national broadcaster, All India Radio, to a plethora of FM radio stations across the country. Of course, news is not allowed to be broadcast, but ingenuity has no limits, and some of them do find their own ways of broadcasting a variant of news. And then you have this complete explosion of what is called the new media space, or the social media space, whereby if you go by the estimates which are available in the public domain, India may be having about 7 crore broadcasters who are on Twitter, who are on Facebook, who are on various other media platforms. So therefore, the ability of people to be able to put out their views in the public space has gone up exponentially. And while we have the proliferation of the instruments of information dissemination on one hand, you have a growing intolerance and a growing impatience with the ability to be able to accommodate, if not appreciate, each other's viewpoint. And this is what I call the paradox of the short fuse. That while we have empowered people, technology has given us the opportunity to be able to increasingly become public even with our private views. Our ability to be able to take in that cross-section of opinion is unfortunately on a very thin-skin syndrome, for the lack of a better expression. And therefore, I was always trying to figure as to where does community radio fit into this paradigm. And one day, while I was applying myself to this question, a bulb clicked in my mind. And that is, before I became Minister for Information and Broadcasting, I had the honor of serving my party as its spokesperson for 4.5 years. And I used to always marvel that there are two discourses in this country. A national discourse, which is really relevant 2.5 miles of Raisina Hill. And there is another discourse which plays out in the rest of the country. While the former feeds into the latter rarely feeds back into the former. And I used to experience this on a weekly basis, that when I used to go to my constituency on a Friday evening, whatever we would do out here from Monday to Friday in terms of television debates, the various responses or the various proactivism on issues which were national or of international import or even of regional import, somehow none of that used to figure in the conversations which I used to have with my constituents. It seemed as if that discourse was really irrelevant to their lives. Their concerns were extremely local, their demands were development oriented, they were circumscribed by the immediate needs of their lives. And week after week I used to have this dichotomy that 5 days we would do something, and when we would go down to the people who have elected us and sent us here, I would realize that they seem to be living in a different world altogether. It was not the disconnect of the India and the Bharat, but it was the disconnect of different discourses which are playing out concurrently in this country on a 24/7 basis. And that is where I discovered that community radio or the community radio movement has a hugely important role to play. Because those concerns are neither discussed, nor debated, nor deliberated with the vigor which they deserve. Unfortunately, because some of those issues are extremely dry, they're extremely localized, they obviously would not generate the kind of excitement which advertisers are looking for, which essentially are the revenue models on which the broadcasting industry thrives. So therefore, they do not find that kind of visibility or find that kind of display in what we call colloquially the national discourse. But those are the real issues, issues of poverty alleviation, issues of water, issues with regard to how rural communities or farming communities need to innovate and improve on their techniques. And I can go on chapter and verse delineating that. And therefore, we decided that we would try and give the community radio movement in this country the greatest fillip that we can. Unfortunately, since we are also, like other government departments, really thin in terms of the manpower that we can devote to this particular issue, it's an effort which really has to be led by the community. And I can understand that when Supriya ji flagged the issue of sustainability of community radio, possibly it is the most germane and the most vital issue which must be uppermost in the minds of people who run these very important but little initiatives on a 24/7 basis. And therefore, before I had come in, an initiative was taken with the Directorate of Audiovisual Publicity to start impaneling community radio to see as to how their revenue models can be made more sustainable. And if I remember correctly from the top of my head, about 6 crores of advertisement had gone out from the Directorate of Audiovisual Publicity in the last years to the community radio movement. Of course, it is a drop in the ocean compared to what we do for the rest of the media space, but I think it's a beginning which has been well made. But as we look forth into the 12th plan, and we have put in place a very holistic and a very comprehensive proposal, and I would like to read out some of the initiatives that we propose to take. that more than 500 new community radios are proposed to be set up in the 12th plan period. Assistance will be available for operating community radio stations. We are also working on several other important initiatives, which includes peer review of community radio stations, capacity building of community radio operators, code of ethics for self-regulation of content by community radio stations, etc. Out of the 100 crores proposed in the 12th plan, 10 crores are proposed for training, capacity building, awareness activities, and the remaining 90 crores have been proposed towards extending financial support towards the community radio station movement. Provision has been made for providing grants for innovation in the sector, for research and development of technology. We also have a provision for emergency grants for the community radio movement. And here I would like to say that it is not that we are going to get circumscribed by the 100 crores that we have set forth in the 12th plan. If we find that the community radio movement actually picks up on the ground, it requires increasingly more support from the government, we would be more than prepared to walk the extra mile. But I think when you start talking about government funding, there are also questions of autonomy, there are also questions of arm's length relationships, there are also questions of the independence of the whole community radio movement, which need to be factored in. And those are questions which will have to be deliberated at length by the practitioners of this movement, because they are increasingly important that if we are going to have a vital and a vigorous and a robust debate in the community radio space, then to what level should be the government interface with this entire effort is something which will need to be determined. On spectrum fee, as Supriya ji has briefed you, we took it up, the Secretary took it up very proactively with the Ministry of Telecommunications. We believe that they are planning to respond to our request and waive the spectrum fee. We do look forward to their continued support in this endeavor, and if at all the Ministry of Telecommunications responds positively, I think they need to be applauded, because in the times that we live in, to take a decision with regard to the allocation of spectrum on possibly a pro bono or a subsidized basis is a very courageous decision to take. And Mr. Sibal, if he walks that extra mile, needs to be really complimented by the community radio movement for having demonstrated commitment in terms of action to this entire movement. Lastly, I would just like to end by saying that the Secretary flagged for my attention the issue of allowing news to be run on community radio. News, as you know, is a very tricky business, because when we started giving out licenses in the news and the non-news, non-current affairs category, somewhere that distinction seems to have blurred. So you have actually more news which runs on non-news channels, and you have views which run on news channels. So therefore, the entire paradigm has got completely redefined. But I think we will be able to make a beginning, and like what is proposed for FM in its third phase of expansion, that the All India radio capsules are supposed to be allowed to be run, if subject to the ECOM and the Cabinet taking a view on it, on FM channels. We can possibly think of, in the first phase, of extending the same concessions if somebody in the community radio movement would find that to be useful. Of course, there is going to be no compulsion at all. If somebody does not want to run it, they are free not to accept it. But that's a beginning. which we may be prepared to make, subject to whatever is the consensus among the various stakeholders. And once again, I would like to compliment you. You've completed 10 years of this pioneering effort, and as we go into more anniversaries of this truly revolutionary movement, I do hope that conferences like this would be hosted by the community radio movement itself, and the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting would really be invited as a guest. Thank you very much.